Shut up and sit down.
Everybody shut up and sit down. I'm talking. I remember a time where you used to love me coming out here and giving you announcements. Crazy how times change. And all because you are all mindless sheep who couldn't see that I was just trying to help you all and make WIW better for everyone. If you only didn't stare blankly at your screens and not really pay any attention to what is going on. Anyway, on to tonight's announcements. As you know, Brad Skeens last week qualified for the Elimination Chamber match. So this week, Skeens, you will face Albright in the main event one-on-one tonight. Albright, I'm making this warning public. When I did what I did at Hellfire, I put all my chips on the table for you and Danger. And so far, you have both let me down. So you better not disappoint me at Lockdown, because if you do, you won't like what comes next. And speaking of the chamber, tonight Steve Miller is next up to qualify, and you will all see his opponent later on tonight, but I can personally guarantee you a 5-star match. That is the only hint I am willing to give you. Stay tuned tonight, because we got so much great action for all of you here tonight. Not that it really matters, of course, because you only do what you're told anyway. So listen to me when I tell you to enjoy the show. But you know what? Or don't. I'll make my money either way. Have a nice night.
Shut up and sit down.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Darren Jacobs. That was a terrible voice crack, but welcome back to Monday Night Mayhem. We are on the week of Final Conflict pay-per-view, which of course is Fight Night exclusive, but that doesn't mean that this man gets the night off. The Cruiserweight Champion steps into the ring once again. The general manager giving him a warm-up to start this show. He's going up against Estrella, a familiar opponent for Oliver Regem. He's faced him on several different occasions for several different reasons. And of course, one of those reasons was his first ever Cruiserweight Championship victory when he became Cruiserweight Champion in the Fatal 4-Way match at Mind Games. So he's familiar with Estrella, he's familiar with the rounds, he knows what he has to do. But the question is, can Oliver Regem step up tonight against a tough competitor who I'm sure will be hungry for his Cruiserweight title? Of course, we know that Jake Griffiths will be facing him at Final Conflict for the Cruiserweight Championship. But tonight, Estrella, the star boy, steps up to the bat to take on the new Cruiserweight Champion one-on-one. And Estrella and Oliver Regem, they have some history in the ring together. They know each other pretty well, so this is going to be an interesting contest, because it's very rare we get these two in the ring one-on-one. It's usually in more of a Fatal 4-Way or multiple man match that we see these two collide, and where these two very similar builds, very similar in weight classes. You see them competing for roughly the same type of things, and it results in these two colliding quite a bit. But on the road to Final Conflict this week, and away we go. And Oliver Regem's going to want to put on an impressive showing, and I'm sure Jake Griffiths will be watching on from wherever he is, looking at the Cruiserweight Champion, seeing what he brings to the table. Well, so far he hasn't been bringing the Cruiserweight title to the table. He hasn't been doing that much, which is an interesting thing to be thinking about, because especially for Oliver Regem, he's been waiting for this title for so long. It's his first real title shot, and he's managed to capture the title on the first attempt. But he then doesn't bring it down to the ring. He brought it down to the ring on one occasion, and that was, of course, on the match against Travis, not the non-title. He brought it to the pay-per-view, but other than that, we haven't seen it since, and maybe it's a tactic, maybe not to give himself too much confidence or reassurance. I don't know. But Oliver Regem there with a very nice tilt-a-well power slam there. Very well done. And out the gate, strong here as we expected. The Cruiserweight Champion's got to show his strength. And the best way to do that, taking on the best that the Cruiserweights and Mayhem have to offer. Of course, Mayhem already having their shot at the Cruiserweight Championship, and that came through Travis Cottrell. And Travis, of course, unfortunately couldn't beat him in the title match. Beat him in non-title action, but couldn't do it when the title was on the line. That seems to be a recurring theme with Travis. And look at Chico. Chico having to roll out the ring here. Regem has definitely got him on the back burner right now. Oh, but that gave him space as he runs back inside to capitalize, but he misses the drop kick. Big counter, though, by Chico. Now needs to move forward if he can. Gets him up on the shoulders. Detonation kick. Very well done there by Estrella Chico. And now going high risk here. Look at the fly. Oh, and a beautiful frog splash. And into the cover. Is that going to be enough to wrap up Regem? I didn't think so. Sharp 1.5 count there for Oliver Regem. And Estrella Chico, of course, we've seen him lingering around this title picture. We've the Cruiserweight title, of course, he's very much eligible for. But also, you know, the European Championship he's had an attempt at, and he was probably one of Jace's hardest opponents to face until he came up to Mason Foster. And that's when he lost that European title. But maybe we'll be seeing him push for the European title again sometime soon. He's a tough competitor, Chico. And we know he's capable of some gold around his waist. It's just a matter of when he can get that done and whether he can push himself to reach that height. There's a discus clothesline by the Cruiserweight Champion. And he's gone straight into the cover. He thinks that might be enough here. It's only a 2. And he does not look happy. Well, he's in complete control of this match. And, of course, it took more than that to keep down Travis at the pay-per-view. It took only one Regem combo, though. And he's going to try and see if that tries his luck here. Regem combo! Regem combo by Oliver Regem. Straight into the cover. And is that going to be enough to put away Estrella Chico tonight? No, it's not. It's 2.5. And Regem pleading his case, but that isn't going to change the referee's decision. To the middle rope he goes. A very interesting first encounter here. And the Cruiserweight Champion just looks to be in phenomenal form. Chico just really hasn't got going here in this matchup. Which is weird because these two usually put on quite a 50-50 match. Very even competitors, as I mentioned earlier. Similar height and weight builds. But right now, Regem is just destroying Chico. But there's a counter and an inverted DDT to try and get things back on track. And now playing to the crowd a little bit. He's very much a fan favourite here, Estrella Chico. Into the Northern Lights suplex. And Chico, the luchador. Not many luchadors on the brand these days. But he's definitely one of the best that we have to offer. 2 big clotheslines, though. Oh my god, did you see the leap on that? Went for another clothesline there. Regem and couldn't connect. Gets hit with one of his own there from Estrella Chico. And plays to the crowd again. They love to see that. The energy and the charisma that is on display from Estrella Chico every single night. And now being brought back to his feet. And looking for a Pele kick. And connects. Pele kick connects, and into the cover. Is that going to be enough to put away the Cruiserweight Champion? It's only a 2. Crowd didn't seem too surprised at that kick out, but this might be it for the Cruiserweight Champion if he can't get away from this. 450, or it turned into a 630 in the end. 630 senton into the cover, and Chico knocks off the Cruiserweight Champion. What a victory for Estrella Chico. What a much needed win that was, and I thought Regem was going to walk out the winner of this one. Dominated the match for the majority of it, but then all of a sudden Estrella Chico with a sudden second wind, and then from there it was all diplomatic, and the 630 senton working to perfection for Estrella Chico. Well, Estrella Chico with the surprise upset here in what was supposed to be Regem's warm-up match, but it turned into a very successful victory for for Estrella Chico. Well, maybe he wants another shot at the Cruiserweight Championship. I guess he's definitely up there in contention, and maybe he'll be looking for one after Jake Griffiths. But I tell you what, Jake Griffiths is definitely going to love the sign of that, seeing that defeat happen there. Are we going to see the same thing again happen and get a new Cruiserweight Champion at Final Conflict, or will Oliver Regem once again be able to pull it off and retain his Cruiserweight Championship? We'll have to find out nearer to the time, but it is time to move on down the rest of tonight's card. Next up tonight, some tag team action, and it is going to be the Mayhem Tag Team Champions stepping into the ring tonight. It's very rare that we get to see them on the Mayhems as of late. They've mainly been pay-per-view guys as of late. But following their victory, very unconvincing victory, it had to be said, against Justice, they are now out here and they've got to prove their point that things are gonna they're gonna pick up again. But they will have Coach Wilson at ringside again in future pay-per-views. But for tonight, again, Coach Wilson is out for medical reasons. And the Kazarian, Xander, and Patrick Green will have to step into the ring once again to the ring by themselves. And you can tell they're a lot different team without Coach Wilson. They fight not as well, to be honest. They settled for a majority of countouts and disqualifications wins. Yes, they did manage to pull off the win against Justice, but it wasn't very convincing that, like we're used to seeing from Kazarian, Xander, and Patrick Green. They're used to destroying their opponents. They're hell-bent on destruction and tearing them apart, but lately we just haven't seen that from the Lightbacks. They've been holding back a little bit, it feels like. At this point, they feel like they're more of a survival tag team champions, just trying to hold on to the tag team titles for as long as they possibly can. And that's not the Xander and Green that we're used to seeing, which is very unsettling for a lot of people. Well, the question is tonight, can they knock off a team that I don't think they were expecting to be facing as of yet, but they're definitely going to step up tonight. It is a team who surprised everyone with their win last week in the Greek-style Open Challenge. It is Damas and Black Jesus making their way down to the ring tonight. The League of Gods stepping up to take on the Mayhem Tag Team Champions, excuse me. The League of Gods. Well, with some serious big wins as of late, unfortunately couldn't pick up the European Championship in singles action was Damas, as he was just unfortunate. But since the debut of Damas, the new fragrance by Damas, they have been in best shape. They have been in the best shape of their careers to date. Several big tag team victories. They're looking more and more confident by the day. And I tell you what, they are serious threats to the tag team titles. But it looks like the GM wants to see how serious of a threat these two really can be for the tag team championships. When we know they're capable of pulling off the wins, but the matter of the fact is, tonight they get a shot at proving that. And of course, if they can pick up the victory once again over the tag team champions, because I believe they already have a tag team champion, have already beaten the tag team champions once before. So tonight, Damas steps up first, and Kazari Xander, strangely enough, going up first as well. And Patrick Green, usually the starter of the two, mixing it up tonight. Very interesting. Jesus, as usual, will be starting on the ropes. And you see now with a lot of these teams, they're starting to get a lot more organized and things. People are starting to establish themselves as tag teams and starting to prove that they're worth tag team title shots. But I have to say that Xander and Green, they're starting to move backwards slightly. They're not as clinical as they used to be. They're not really even as powerful. The beginning of their career, they would just destroy everyone. They would not go for the count until they had literally killed the person that they were attacking. Nice DDT there with the leg sweep from Damas. They were very clinical, very powerful, and they did not settle for just the wins that they have been taking as of late. Tagging in comes Black Jesus. Oh, look at this. Putting on a show here, putting on the power poses. Oh, lifting him up. What's he thinking here? Oh, and a nice little slam down there from the two. And for Black Jesus, of course, hasn't been much of the ringleader for this team, but Damas has definitely treated him as an equal. They're both gods in their own right, they believe, and they have been a very dominant tag team force. And Xander tried to crawl to the oh, look at that. Jesus just takes out the referee there. I think that was inadvertently, but the referee's down for some time here. Oh, look at that. Was looking for a military press, but Xander just too powerful. And a snap German. And now might want to tag out to Patrick Green. And he might. Yes, he does. That's better tag team work for them. And again, like I say, they defended the Mayhem Tag Team Championships again at the last pay-per-view, but they just couldn't keep up in that match. It looked like for a long period of time that AD, Nathaniel, and Lachlan were going to walk out the winners of that one. They did very well to survive, granted, but how much longer are they going to be able to survive on these tag team titles and not excel? Because they really need to do that. They can't afford to just sell for countouts and cheap victories, especially when they are such a dominant team who have been feared for months here. They are two-time Mayhem Tag Team Champions, currently enjoying the longest stint as champions of their careers, and they have been there for quite some time. It's been going very well for them, statistic-wise. However, I feel like performance-wise, they're starting to slip. People are starting to find cracks in their armor, and they definitely need to start showing what they can do. But as for the League of Gods, they've not gone from bad to good. They've gone from good to great. They are becoming a really, really strong tag team and a really dominant force here in the Mayhem Tag Division. But to be honest, I say that as if they probably would be able to walk into the Fight Night Tag Division and at least be able to keep up with the best of the best. But as of late, the Mayhem Tag Division is starting to thin. They lost a lot of people, of course, in the Mind Games month, when they lost a lot of transferred people over to the gold, the white and gold brand. Look at that from Damas. Beautiful little heel flick. Oh, now Xander trying to make the tag, and he does. Damas couldn't stop it, and in comes Patrick Green with a massive shoulder tackle. Doesn't keep Damas down, though. Second clothesline, and another shoulder tackle. And Damas stays down. Well, Green, not really the powerhouse of the team. We always assume it to be Kazari and Xander, but of course, a powerhouse fighter in his own right. And now look at Damas here. Triangle choke. Look at him go into the tap-out victory. Of course, Damas, the greatest Greek golfer and fighter in history. I'm not sure how many of them there are, but I'll have to Google that one. I have to be sure. And now Damas gonna send him. Oh, well, no, thought he was going to the corner. Very well done there by Damas. Tag out again. This is what I'm saying. Black Jesus and Damas, they're working very well together. They have an established leader in the team in Damas, much like the established leader of the linebacks is Coach Wilson, to be honest. Kazarian's, yeah. Oh, look at that, Xander. Cheap shot there as Black Jesus was taking control. And yeah, they have a very established leader in Damas. They have clear tag team moves lined out. They have their finish, of course, in the heat bomb. They know exactly what they want to do. It doesn't always necessarily work out for them, but it's always great to have that kind of structure. And now look at this, the running haymaker from Patrick Green, trying to turn the tide again in this match. And of course, it didn't take too long after this last time out to retain the tag team championships. And now sending a warning to the League of Gods here. In formation, Xander and Green with the blitz. With the blitz, Xander and Green straight into the cover. Is that going to be enough? No, Damas is there to break it up. And, and just manages to escape the two there as they were both gunning for him. And they both just stare him down and don't get involved any further. And now Xander with the DDT. And that wrapped it up at the pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken. Decides not to go for the cover on Jesus. And Black Jesus really struggling here, and he might be hit with the blitz again. If he can't escape, he's in trouble. Once again, in formation, the Mayhem Tag Team Champions with the blitz. The blitz from Xander and Green. And straight into the cover. Is that going to be enough to put away the League of Gods? No, it's not. 2.5 count. And that must be worrying signs for the linebacker. 2 blitzes. And it still didn't get the job done. And now look at the strength from Jesus. Wisely tags out, and back in comes Damas. Well, look at them. They're taunting to the crowd now. They're almost saying that was too easy to kick out of. That was a very close 2.5 count, but I am very surprised that the League of Gods are still in this one. And now Green, well done there to snap the arm and trying to re-establish control. Back into the lineback's corner now. They're really getting going here. Damas managed to save himself, though, in a leg-sweeping DDT. Preventing himself from going into the corner there. Very well done indeed by Damas. Now Damas spinning him around here. What's he thinking? Wrenching away on the leg. That might be a wise tactic here. Oh, look at this. Oh, into the gut as well. With the leg drop. Now picking him up here is Damas. Oh, only to be tossed to the opposite side of the rope. Oh, and Damas finds a counter, though. The Greek god. Oh, and that was a little bit low there, ref. Keep an eye on that. Into the cover he goes, and he only gets a 1 count for the League of Gods. A very interesting tag team encounter here tonight between these two sides. And look at Jesus, he's tied on the outside. He doesn't want to get tagged back in, and you can't blame him. Damas charging up the elbow and connects on the jaw. And Damas, we know, quite the connoisseur of the elbow drop. And now, once again, for good measure, oh, right across the jaw. And Damas, oh, look at this. Oh, I thought he was going for it for a 3rd time. Instead, he's going to drag him to the middle of the ring where he's looking for a bigger elbow drop this time around. Damas lining up for the rolling elbow. There it is. Beautiful elbow drop. And Damas now might not be far away here from the greetings for Greece. Or maybe the Greek bomb in the corner with Damas and Damas and Black Jesus, if that is what they call it. I don't know. That was just the first name that came to my head. But Patrick Green. Oh, look at this. Oh, and a big frog splash in the corner. Oh, and picking him up as well for a stun off the top rope. And now Green is rolling here. Big boot. And following it through with a leg drop. Beautiful work there from Patrick Green trying to get his team back in this match. The League of Gods are taking control, but the Lionbacks are definitely given the best hits so far. That is definitely to be said. But now Damas takes him to the corner. Tag is made and they're going for it. They're going for this powerbomb. Can it connect? Green's in trouble here. The bomb and the elbow works. Into the cover. Straight away goes Damas. Is Xander going to be able to break it up in time? He does at the count of 2. And look at this. Went straight for it again, but Xander once again broke it up. And gets met with a DDT off that distraction cover. And now Black Jesus in the ring, but he is desperately hurt. He's hit with a DDT, the running haymaker, and 2 blitz. He's had their best shots. He's still surviving in this match, but I can't imagine he has much left in the tank for offense. Patrick Green, though, left to his own devices because Kazari and Xander down on the outside. And you can already see the tag team unity from the League of Gods. They're working very well here. They know what they want to do. Can they get the job done, though? There's a spinning back fist. And it could easily go off the cover off of that. He decides against it. Instead, a DDT after the kick in the gut. And now, trying to line him up. Oh, just takes him down very well there. And Black Jesus firing on all cylinders, but needs to put this one away if he can. Oh, crashing him into the turnbuckle and following through with a German suplex. And Black Jesus showing that true powerhouse style and strength that we know he's capable of. And they might want to consider putting down Green here for good now because... Oh, wait, no, Xander is back to his feet now. Feel like that was a wasted opportunity there for the League of Gods. Although they clearly didn't feel like they had enough to get the job done. Now in the corner, and that's not where he wants to be. Patrick Green looking confident. The splash in the corner again. For the 2nd time in this match, and now brought up on the shoulder. Oh, was looking for the power slam, but well escaped there by Damas. And oh, and a beautiful little face-first crush. And into the cover. Oh, no, I thought he was going for the cover. He decided against it. Oh, he's setting up for something. Rolls him to the middle of the ring, maybe looking for another elbow. Charging himself up in the crowd. Getting behind the Greek god. The elbow drop once again. And straight into the cover. Is that going to be enough? Xander in an awkward position. Had to try and wrap around the referee. Instead, he just takes him out instead. Oh, look at that. He went for that big DDT on Black Jesus, but instead couldn't do it. And Xander now. Xander ready to put away the League of Gods, but he tried to crawl away and he didn't let him. And now Green charging up the spear. Can he get the job done? Yes, he can. Spear to Damas, but the referee is down. He's not going to be able to get there. The referee is down, and I don't think he's going to get up for a minute. Oh, and that spear might have just gone to complete waste there. The League of Gods survive, and he's gone into the cover, but the referee is still down. The referee only just getting up. Oh, wait a minute. Jesus tried to get in and save his partner, and he does. Off the counter. Well, Damas is down. He needs to make the tag. And so does Xander. He's down too. And the referee deciding not to count either of these men out. I probably would have done by now if I was a referee, but then again, I'm not sure what we paid these guys for anyway. Now being brought back to his feet, Kazari and Xander tried to spin him around there. Wasn't allowed to by Damas. Damas said no. And Damas to the corner again. And Xander prevented the tag from occurring. And now to the corner again. They try one more time. And they make the tag. Kick to the gut. And now what are they thinking? Oh, look at this. Charging up the headbutt here. Oh, and a beautiful little ramming headbutt here. And now playing to the crowd. The crowd are loving this one. And now Jesus, ready to put this one away with the spinning powerbomb. We haven't seen this in quite some time. Oh, no. And we still haven't. Xander kicks. Xander escapes the hold. Oh, look at this. Damas reaching for the tag. But no. Just as Damas was about to be tagged in, he's punched off the apron by Kazarian Xander. And now these two left alone with Black Jesus. This could be the end here. Tag is made. In comes Patrick Green. There's a leg drop and an elbow to the back. And into the cover straight away. And that could well be enough. Kazarian Xander and Patrick Green with prime opportunity to steal the match. It's only going to give them a 2. And what an amazing tag team encounter this has been so far. And we're still no closer to determining a winner. Green tried to charge up for something in the corner. Couldn't quite do it. And he's a dangerous man in the corner. Oh, and there's a stun off the ropes. And now up on the shoulders. And now it's back to the drawing board, really, for Black Jesus. The spinning powerbomb didn't work. And he now gets what he wanted to do. In comes Damas. Damas. Oh, look at Damas. They're not wasting any time here off the tag. Damas. Oh, no. Was looking for greetings for Greece, but Patrick Green with the counter. And the tag team champions just refusing to back down. Patrick Green has him in the corner, charging up here. Running! Haymaker, and the referee got caught in the crossfires there. Manages to just duck the clothesline itself. And now hit with a suplex as well by Patrick Green. Damas in trouble here, and the spear is hit as well. Spear is hit. Drags him to the middle of the ring. Can Black Jesus get there in time? Xander goes to stop him. He's not going to get there. And no! Damas kicks out at 2.5. And look at the faces of Xander and Green. They don't know what to do anymore. He just kicks out. Oh, and there's a gut buster to Damas before Xander exits the ring. And they don't know what to do, but they're going big here. Xander and Green going high risk. Look at this. Look at the fly. Oh, and a massive double knees to Damas. And with his tag team partner down, there isn't really much room for him to do anything here. Damas needs to try and fight back or just take the beating for the moment because Jesus is down and he's got nowhere to go. And this has been a much more impressive display from Xander and Green. But Damas and Jesus have been putting on a real fight to them, not letting them have this one easy. A stomp to the gut here from Damas. Couldn't hit the greetings from Greece earlier and maybe might be thinking about going for it again, decides against it. Green gets himself out of the corner, and Green is a very dangerous man. You don't want to have him in the corner. Tag is made, and in comes Kazarian Xander. Both men just stare him down there. Maybe they were thinking of doing something, but instead Xander left to his own devices to land the DDT, driving him down onto the apron. And Jesus, look at that, with expert timing, gets up at the perfect time to break it up. But look at this, only to be taken down maybe by Green. Oh no, he gets out of it. Oh, but look at Xander. Xander, looking to wrap this one up with the Samoan driver. No. Black Jesus makes the save and tosses Xander out the ring, and the referee goes down again. Well, Black Jesus just keeps the match alive. What a save that was indeed. And now trying to crawl to make the tag. Jesus wants back in after making the save of the match. If he'd have hit that Samoan driver, it would have been all over. But Black Jesus makes the save. And now being brought back to his feet here, Xander might try again for that Samoan driver. He's got him up on the shoulders. Oh no, instead going to go into the corner. He's just going to stun him off the ropes. Thought maybe he was going to go for the corner. Oh, the referee once again needs to get out of the way. There's the tag, and in comes Black Jesus. He's left alone with Kazarian Xander. Patrick Green down on the outside. And it's just these two now in a test of strength. Two very powerful fighters in their own rights. And look at the strength here from Black Jesus. Very powerful fighter. And now with the big knee. There it is, right to the jaw of Kazarian Xander. And he's feeling the effects now. He's tired, he's hurt. He's taking some big shots. And now playing to the crowd though. That's how the League of Gods do. putting on great matches, but with style, and now once again trying for the spinning power bomb, but Damas isn't going to be there to stop Patrick Green from getting involved into the cover. Is he going to be able to do it? No! Once again saved at the count of 2 by Patrick Green. And I had a feeling that was going to happen. The spinning power bomb connects, but it just couldn't get the job done because of the interruption. Northern Light suplex from Kazarian Xander. Really trying to get this one wrapped up. Tag is made. And what a match this has been. A true tag team classic. And imagine this again, and the tag team titles being on the line. They'd go even harder for it. Both these teams. Another running haymaker from Patrick Green. And now trying to pick him up. Maybe looking for that power slam. And once again, Damas, the League of Gods escape. But look at this. Oh, spear. Spear. From out of nowhere. Into the cover. Surely that's going to be enough. If Damas doesn't get there in time. Damas can't get there. The Lionbacks win. The Lionbacks beat the League of Gods in a fantastic tag team encounter. And right when we thought that the League of Gods were going to emerge here with a win over the Lionbacks and to show themselves that they can potentially become tag team champions, they take a huge step backwards, and Kazarian Xander and Patrick Green managed to pick up the victory here against the League of Gods. A much needed victory for their momentum. And the Mayhem Tag Team Champions continue just to look unstoppable. And even though they might be slowing down a bit, they still prove week in, week out that they are tough people to beat. Can they get the job done? We'll have to find out soon, but what an amazing tag team match that was. But it is time to move on down the rest of the card. Big win for the Lionbacks. Next up tonight, another qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber. And first man down to the ring after his big win last week against Original Brad, it is the real deal, Steve Miller. Well, we know that both Original Brad and Steve Miller will be in qualifying matches, but as we also found out last week, it won't be against each other. But after the amazing match that those two went through last week, Steve Miller once again managed to pick up the victory and was now looking to go to the Elimination Chamber. But boy, oh boy, does he have a tough match up tonight. And he is in surprise for when he sees who he's up against. But tonight, Stephen Miller, as always, not afraid of anything or anyone. He's prepared for anyone who steps down that ramp. But I tell you what, he's going to be in with a big surprise when he sees this man. It's a man who he has a lot of respect for. It's a man who he knows very well and has stepped into the ring with on many different occasions. It's a man he has beaten in the past, but he needs to do it again tonight. Even with him now in probably the best form of his life. It is the former European champion, Mason Foster, making his way down to the ring to qualify for a WIW championship shot in the Elimination Chamber against Steve Miller. Now, we saw this quite a few pay-per-views ago now. These two have had their battles in the past, but unfortunately for Foster, it's always been Steve Miller that has come out on top. But tonight, he could take his first victory against Steve Miller, and it would be in absolutely spectacular form if he is to do that, because he would get the biggest win of them all by granting himself a WIW championship match. And the former European champion, despite only holding it for a brief 4-week period, had to deal with a lot as champion, and tonight he gets the chance to bring some title success back to himself. But he's got a tough task. This is going to be one hell of a match. We've seen these two collide before in the past, but it was early days still for both these men. They've evolved a lot more now. They've changed so much as fighters. So let's see how this match goes down. And Mason Foster, Irish whip there by Stephen Miller, and tried to take him down there, but Mason Foster refused to go down. Oh, very nice work there. Oh, and a nice little miniature power bomb there. Inverted almost. And Mason Foster, as I mentioned, and Stephen Miller have collided on many different occasions. I believe that these two this might be not true. I might be mistaken, but these two made their debut on pay-per-view against each other. Well, that, I think, is true. I'm not 100%, but I think that might be the case. But Mason Foster and Steve Miller, they've had their battles. They know each other very well, but they have also grown as fighters, and a beautiful move there by Mason Foster. Foster, of course, with not a lot of ring time as of late, still on the recovery from the injuries he suffered in his European Championship rematch and initial title match with Brad Skeens. Of course, Brad Skeens losing the title to Jax Wolf at Hellfire. So we have a new European champion, and Mason Foster has already made it clear he has no intention of going for the European Championship again. I mean, I guess he'd go for it if the opportunity presented himself, but he has eyes on becoming a world champion at this point. But of course, he said, as you may have remembered from the interview before, if you haven't heard our interview with Mason Foster, be sure to go and check it out on the World Internet Wrestling website. But he said, you know, everybody has the goal of becoming world champion, and he wants to do that one day, but he just wants to be one of the top guys on the roster. And you know what? He's definitely a crowd favourite. He's definitely up there, Mason Foster, and we know that for sure. But he's up against someone who also has established himself as a top guy on the roster. Several big wins. Yet to pick up a championship, Stephen Miller, but to be honest, the championship opportunity hasn't really fallen to him. He had the opportunity in the six-pack challenge, but was pinned at the final hurdle by Jax Wolf, the first man to actually keep him down for a count of 3. Oh, look at that. Well taken down there by Steve Miller. Well, Mason Foster will be looking to become the second man to do that here tonight, and if he does so, he will join Brad Skeens, the former European champion, and Aaron Albright inside the Elimination Chamber for the WIW Championship at Lockdown. Very nicely done there. Shades of the GM. That's his GM's move there. And now look at this. Calling him back to his feet. Here's Steve Miller. Look at a fly. Oh, look at that. Using his cruiserweight abilities. I tell you what, he wouldn't be too far off a title shot for the Cruiserweight Championship, you know. Very easily could walk into that division and conquer that one. But Stephen Miller, the real deal, has his eyes set on the world title here tonight. Of course, we've seen him develop a submission as of late. It has been very lethal. It's put away quite a few people. Oh, well dodged there by Mason Foster. And you can see already these two learning. They've learned a lot since then. This match has been so much different, so further from the last time. Who knows which way this one's going to go this time round. But Mason Foster hoping for a different result. And he's off to a good start, that is to be said. He's doing very, very well here. And now look at this, the elbows to the top of the skull goes Mason Foster. And Mason is trying to stay in control because he knows that Steve Miller could turn it on at any moment and he could wrap up the whole thing, either with that lethal submission or the tie driver. He has a lot of powerful weapons in his arsenal and he knows that. Look at that, playing to the crowd. The real deal, two fan favourites here in a main event caliber match, just shy of the main event itself. Two big shoulder tackles. Stephen Miller can't get him down though, and he's tossed to the outside. Oh, wait a minute. Manages to save himself to the top rope, and look at this. Foster didn't see him, and the double axe handle connects. And now to the corner, where he's also developed that Alex Wilson float over DDT. Is that going to be enough to connect? Yes, it is. Float over DDT. And he definitely didn't have to deal with that last time they faced. And he's going to go for the cover off of it. Is that going to be enough to put away Mason Foster and to qualify for the Elimination Chamber? Only a 1 count. And a 1 count only so far. And Steve Miller still going to play to the crowd here, as the fan favourites always do. But he can't afford to get sloppy because he knows that someone else has really got better. And that definitely has been true for Mason Foster. But now, tie driver! Right in the middle of the ring. Mason Foster's in trouble as he goes into the cover to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. 2 count. And the first tie driver of the match doesn't get the job done. And look at Steve Miller's frustration. He thinks he could have already wrapped this one up, but yet Mason Foster still powers out. And now look at this, picking him up. And Foster now needs to start advancing forward, and he's going to try and do so with a submission here. And look at this. Using the max lock here. The submission of the World Heavyweight Champion. With his own little unique twist on it there. Managing to escape pretty easily though is Stephen Miller. And we're not used to seeing that from Mason Foster. Not really much of a submission guy. Very interesting stuff there. Oh, but we have seen this before. Look at this. There it is. That massive DDT from Mason Foster. And now into the cover. Is that enough to put away Stephen Miller and to qualify for the Elimination Chamber? No, it's 2.5. What a contest. We knew this would be. And both these two giving it their all. And so far, the best that either of them have managed is a 2 count. No one walking out the winner of this one unscathed. Mason Foster, look at this. Clearly showing he's ready for some more in-ring action. He's going high risk now, trying to show that the injuries are fully away, but he couldn't connect there with what he was trying to do. Steve Miller's able to dodge it. And Steve Miller took too long waiting for Mason Foster to get back to his feet. Oh, and a miniature DDT there. And these two always bring us a great match. But so far, it's always gone one way. Mason Foster looking to try and turn it the other way today. And he still only can get a 2 count here, Stephen Miller. And remember, Brad Skeens and Aaron Albright already in the Elimination Chamber match. Of course, Albright there by default. Brad Skeens had to qualify for his last week. And those two will be facing one-on-one in tonight's main event. A very interesting encounter. I believe we've had that before in a Champions versus Champions battle. But never before with Skeens not as champion, I do believe. And now, look at this. Taking him to the top. Foster isn't allowing him to get away with it. He's going to go up again, and look at that. A stunner off the top rope. Very well done there by Mason Foster. And he's now got Steve Miller trapped in the corner here. Is he going to be able to capitalize? Yes, he does. A nice little scoop-up powerbomb out of that bottom corner. And now Mason Foster scouting the scene here, trying to see what he can do. But Miller back to his feet again. Look at this. Such an even match this has actually turned into. Neither man backing down for a second. And now being brought back to his feet. Mason Foster in a spot of trouble here. Oh, might have been setting up for the tie driver, but Mason Foster said no. And he's counted into the DDT. Connects with it as well. Straight into the cover. Has Foster finally done it? Has he knocked off Steve Miller? No! That was about 2 9/10 of a count. Foster can't believe his lucky foot. He had that one wrapped up, and so did I. But once again, Steve Miller, I don't know what on earth this guy is made of. Just refuses to stay down. Oh, but now look at this. Foster's in trouble. Submission applied. Submission applied in the middle of the ring. He ain't got a rope break chance. He needs to break out of this or this match is going to be over. And he's in serious trouble. Needs to find something left in the tank. But look at that. Stephen Miller released the hold. Maybe seeing that he wasn't actually going to tap. Oh, look at that. Gets behind. And now another submission. Going for that choke again. We've seen it put people away in the past. Hasn't done so here on rope break. But once again, not letting up. Being relentless here. And that's what you've got to do. Looking for the tiebreaker. Tiebreaker. Tiebreaker? Tie driver, excuse me. Same thing. Into the cover. Off the tie driver. Has he finally done it? It's Steve Miller going for the WYW Championship. No! No, I swear to God that was a 3. The hand touches the mat. But the referee insists that Foster kicks out before the 3 count occurs. I'm not sure about that one off the replay. But it is still going. This match is still alive. And a massive middle rope knee there from Stephen Miller, who's feeling it from the crowd. They're showing their love for what is a fantastic match. 2 people we know have the capability of putting on a 5-star match. And they're definitely living up to the expectations tonight. And of course, we're still not even at the main event stage here tonight. Into the cover goes Mason Foster to wrap this one up into 2 count. These two giving it their all here. And remember, this is for a big prize. This is to become a WYW champion participant. Or try to leap up there and maybe try and hit him with the cut. I couldn't do it. Now look at this, Mason Foster lifting around the cruiserweight that is Stephen Miller. Oh, look at this, looking for some springboard action. Did you see the spin he had on that? Beautiful aerial ability there from Mason Foster. And now Foster, what's he thinking? Tried to drag him up there, couldn't do it. Maybe was looking for the spinning heel kick, but Miller read it well. And now into the cover just to wrap this one up and get out of here. 2 count. And both of them being wise here, just trying to score the cover and quickly now because they've both taken some massive hits. And neither one is going to go down without a fight. They know that. So if they can try and sneak the victory, it could be the right tactic here. And a big frog splash to the back of the springboard. Steve Miller now wrenching away on the legs, targeting the limbs, maybe thinking submission might be the best way to get him out of here. And that's why the limb targeting begins. But now Steve Miller has Foster in trouble as he looks for the float over DDT one more time. Foster's in trouble. No! Well escaped by Foster. Well escaped by Foster. And now Foster looking for a Falcon Arrow. Connects. What a match this has been. Neither man giving an edge. But only one can walk out and go to the Elimination Chamber. Who is it going to be? Foster again. Trying to line him up here. Looking for the spinning heel kick. Steve Miller in a bad place. This has knocked out people in the past. Has it done it tonight? Oh no, he wants to be sure. He's gone for the spinning heel kick, but he wants to be sure. Oh, and look at that. Was trying to set up for something big there. Couldn't do it. Miller gets behind. Once again countered though by Foster. How is this going to end? Who can do it? I feel like we're near the end. The end is near. But who can do it? Who can put the other away? Steve Miller bringing Foster back to his feet. And now in the submission. Nowhere near the ropes. Foster's got nowhere to go. Miller's got him. And Foster taps again. Not again. The first time he's tapped out, to be fair. Usually it's win by pinfall. But Steve Miller, with that newly acquired lethal submission hold, has beaten Mason Foster once again. Big win here. And we know these two are good friends, so no surprise for a mutual sign of respect here with the handshake. Steve Miller and Mason Foster. Another fantastic encounter, but in the end, the same results. And Stephen Miller qualifies for the Elimination Chamber and joins Brad Skeens and Aaron Albright in the Chamber match. What a chamber we have got lined up, and unfortunately for Mason Foster, he just isn't going to make the cut. But what's next for Mason Foster, we don't know. But big things to come for Stephen Miller. Let's move on down the rest of the card. Next up tonight, before tonight's main event of Brad Skeens and Aaron Albright, we've got some women's action. And the first woman coming down to the ring is someone who is pretty much well established now as a #1 contender for the Mayhem Women's Championship. And we might be seeing that soon. She might hold out to Lockdown, but she might be wanting to cash in sooner rather than later. It is Catherine Albright. But Catherine Albright, I tell you what, she's come down to the ring. She staked her claim last week after Sandra Piper's big victory. But why on earth would you want to step into the ring with Sandra Piper at this point? Last week, we watched Sandra Piper literally choke a woman to unconsciousness. We can confirm, unlike the title said, she is alive, she is not dead. But it was tuck and go there for a while, let me tell you. But Elliot Rogers, we might not be seeing her for quite some time after that match. But Jesus Christ, Sandra Piper is an unstoppable force, and she has been for so long. And Catherine Albright's a braver person than I to step in the ring with her. But tonight, she goes up with someone else who used to be like that, used to be the feared woman on the brand back in the trial era. It is Tiffany Abbott, who is ready to get down here and start to make her claim towards the WIW Championship for the women's division. We know she's capable of them big wins. We know that for a fact. But the question still remains as whether or not she is capable of getting back to her winning ways and winning the big one once again. But to be honest, Sandra Piper has been too much of a match for most people. But I do not believe that either of these women have had their shot at the women's champion yet. But we know that these two are both capable of doing so. And the referee rings the bell and away we go here. But oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Here comes the Mayhem Women's Champion. Sandra Piper is out here tonight. Back in her classic red gear. And she's just here to watch by the looks of things. She's not here to get involved. She's just here. And Catherine doesn't like it at all. Catherine doesn't want anything to do with that. She's just gonna... Oh, but look at this. Yeah, she's just gonna sit here. She's not gonna get involved. And there's nothing wrong with that. She is gonna have to get under the way with this match, though. Well, here we go. Bell rings. And away we go. And Tiffany... not going to hope to lose concentration for that. We've seen this before. Sandra Piper has already come out before and scouted Catherine Albright's matches, because she has definitely stood out above the rest as a possible Women's Championship contender. And I'm sure we'd love to see that. Unfortunately, no Elimination Chamber for the women this year, as much as we'd love to have seen that as well, but General Manager has decided to go with 2 Elimination Chamber matches for the world titles, as it is the big occasion, of course. Not to undermine the Women's Championship, but the General Manager has made it clear that Sandra Piper is the top dog, and if you want a title shot, you're going to have to take it up with her. And that's exactly what Catherine Albright has done, and it clearly is working. She's caught the attention of the Fight Night of the Mayhem Women's Champion. And on Fight Night, we had something similar with Tashley, who's come out for weeks ambushing the champion, trying to make her statement clear that she's not scared of either of her personas. But of course, there's only one persona for Sandra Piper, one scary, one dominant opponent who literally can choke you to death if she wanted to. And Catherine Albright, not scared of her, not backing down. She's showing that. And that's what a lot of people are not being able to do. They step into the ring with her, trying to prove they're not scared and that they can take her down. But so far, no one's been able to do it. No one's been able to live up to the hype and live up to their word. And now look at this. Went for the drop kick to the back. Couldn't quite do it. And Catherine hit with the Insecurity there by Tiffany. And look at this. Tiffany taunting there, trying to catch Sandra Piper's attention, saying that I want a shot at your women's title. Of course, as we know, Tiffany in the trial era, the most successful women's champion. I believe she had 2 title reigns, and second one was a very long title reign indeed. But of course, Sandra Piper on a very dominant reign herself. I believe now her 4th month as WIW Women's Champion. I may be mistaken. I know that that Laura Stable's, of course, only 1 month shorter than that. And now the Irish whip to the corner. Down goes Tiffany. She's feeling the effects now. But look at this. Sandra catching her eye. And these two face to face again. She doesn't want to take her eye off the ball, though. Catherine getting a little distracted here. And Tiffany going to make her pay for it with a big shot to the face. And Sandra says she had nothing to do with that and just applauds the match. She's just going to get out of the way. She's seen enough. And she's giving Tiffany the control here. And Catherine Albright, clearly with some beef with the champion. Neither of these two showing up to... Well, neither of these two going to back down from the other. Sandra Piper has stoked fear on all of her competitors, but yet there's still one woman, one brave woman who's still willing to stand there and stare her in the eyes and say that she is not scared of her, and that is Tiffany Abbott and Catherine Albright. Of course, Albright didn't have the balls. Tiffany Abbott didn't have the balls to step up to her outside the ring. But look at this. She's just going to take the count-out victory. She's going to take Sandra's assist and take the count-out win. Count of 9. And that's the strategy we're used to seeing from Tiffany Abbott. Doing whatever is necessary. But Catherine Albright was made to pay from the distraction from Sandra Piper. And Tiffany Abbott took the opportunity that presented itself, and she struck well. Tiffany Abbott beats Catherine Albright, who is definitely deemed to be the #1 contender for that Mayhem Women's Championship. And now Tiffany looking to stake her claim to the Mayhem Women's Championship. Well, Sandra Piper, that definitely must have been an eye-opening match for her to see 2 women both saying they're ready to take them on. The question is she ready to take them both on at once? Or maybe she's just going to take it in turn to take them both down. But we definitely know that Catherine is next for the Women's Championship. But has Tiffany just booked herself a ticket in that match as well? We'll have to find out, but it is time for tonight's main event. Main event of the evening, and the WIW champion steps into the ring against the first person to qualify for the Elimination Chamber match for the WIW Championship. As we found out earlier tonight, Steve Miller will also be joining that matchup. But for this man, he's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders. The general manager put a lot of trust and faith in him to win that TLC match and to become the 4-time WIW champion that he is today. And the general manager is not going to be impressed if Aaron Albright cannot pick up the victory again here at the Elimination Chamber. Still in search of his first successful title defense. And it's all well and good winning it back and putting your name down as a historic champion. but you ain't going to go down as the greatest of all time if you can't actually hold that title for longer than 4 weeks. Well, man who knows all about that, I believe was a 2-3 month champion as the European champion. Now the former European champion, it is Brad Skeens. Brad Skeens ready to step into the ring and ready to go. He knows what he has to do. He knows what he wants. He wants that WIW Championship. The reason he wasn't too angry, wasn't too upset about the European Championship match was because he knew that this opportunity would be knocking at the door waiting for him. And that's exactly what happened. And Brad Skeens gifted a golden opportunity here tonight to step up to the WIW champion and see if he has what it takes to potentially go and take that title away from him at the Elimination Chamber. Well, I tell you what, we've only announced 3 people for this Elimination Chamber match, and there are still 3 more people to crown. But my, oh my, what a lineup we have for Lockdown in this WIW Championship match. And I tell you what, Aaron Albright is going to have all the pressure on him to retain that title. He knows the GM's going to be watching him. The GM has made it clear he has to start defending that title because he did a lot to get him it in the first place. And now needs to start defending it. Well, Skeens and Albright. Albright, of course, off the loss last week to Jax Wolf, the new European champion. How will he do this week against the former European champion? And Brad Skeens off to a great start there with the neck breaker and not wasting any time for a nice little sidewalk backbreaker. Bringing him back to his feet here, not going to waste any time to go for the big strikes, to give him space to breathe. And now up on the shoulders. Albright in a bit of trouble here. Oh, and a flapjack down onto the canvas. And Skeens out of the gate, strong, not wasting any time here. And now looking for a suplex. Oh, no, well countered by Albright. And Albright, we know, can take a punch. We've seen it in the past. And, of course, we've seen him pack a punch as well. But we can't say for certain that he is a dominant champion until he's defended it. Many people, you ask anyone in wrestling history or even in sports history, you are not a champion until you have defended it. You've not been a champion unless you have defended it, and that is the sad truth and the harsh reality of it. And Aaron Albright has had 3 attempts at it so far and still hasn't done it. He lost to Jaden. He's lost it. Yeah, he's lost it twice to Jaden, and then once to King Sam. He's recaptured it again now. This is his 4th stint as WIW champion. But of course, he had a big assistance from the general manager himself for that match, so you can't exactly say that it was a walk in the park for him. Couldn't be further from the truth, to be honest. The general manager made it so easy for him to get the title, but now he actually has to do the tough part and defend it. And it's going to be his toughest task as well for defending it, because it's a 6-man elimination chamber. And so far, 2 men in this ring are already the biggest people on the roster. We got Brad Skeens, the WIW former European champion, the megastar that he's really emerged into. He's really become a top dog on this brand. And now needs to keep proving himself, and he can do here tonight. And of course, the real deal, Stephen Miller, who probably should have had a title opportunity up until this point. Hasn't had one other than at Hellfire when he was put into the 8-man Battle Royal. And needs to keep showing himself. And now, look at this. Looking for the famous connects. Slap bang in the middle of the ring from Aaron Albright. And now playing to the crowd, the WIW champion. Who, despite the fact he still had an assistance, still was on his side here. And a big kick to the gut. And now look at this. Beautiful work here. Oh, just a wrench away on the arm. And Aaron Albright now lining him up, looking for that super kick. Aaron Albright, the WIW champion, has Skeens in his sights. Super kick, no! Well escaped, well escaped. Oh, and did you see him backing off there? He was going to try and charge up for a running spear. Couldn't do it. Albright didn't give him the space to do so. And now there's a backbreaker of his own. Very well played, indeed. And now Aaron Albright to the outside. Just going to try and get the better of him if he can. Oh, there's a massive leg sweep. And now, just trying to advance forward. He can't do it, though. Not letting it happen. And what a match we've had tonight. The GM, he may have told the crowd to stuff it, but at least he's putting up still a fantastic show for the crowd. Not willing to let all his reputation go to waste. Now looking for a package pile driver here. Connects. Beautiful connection. And straight into the cover off of it. Is that going to be enough to wrap up the champ? 1. Only a 1. And that is not what Skeens would have wanted to see. But now taunting in the corner, the champion almost saying too easy, even though he has been on the back burner of this match. He is really struggling. He needs to start mounting some offense now, and he's getting a chance to do so. Skeens all backed up there. I thought maybe he was thinking the spear, but he saw Albright getting up and continue to mount the offense on him. That's good. You can't give him the space. Now looking for the suplex. Oh, once again countered there by Aaron Albright. Now the kick to the gut. Went for the DDT. Very well countered there, and the body strikes helps him get out of it. And Brad Skeens, of course, we saw last week winning by submission. He's added a new submission to his game as well. But, of course, we know his main tactic is that vicious spear. It doesn't matter what distance he hits you with it from. He connects. You're likely to be seeing the end of the match. But he's going to try that submission again. He names it the Anaconda Bite. The Anaconda Bite. And the champ's in trouble. The champ taps. He got him again. 2 weeks in a row of submission victories. And Aaron Albright's lost his second match in a row. But Skeens win a massive victory over the WYW champion to wrap up tonight's show. That was the package pile driver that set him on this tide to win in the match. But the Anaconda Bite, for the second week in a row, picks up the victory over the WYW champion. And we could be looking at a new one come the Elimination Chamber. Skeens ready to stake his claim to be the new WYW champion. Well, it's been made clear in the comments that people believe he can be a world champion. He still has some little bugs to fix, but as you can see from that submission victory, he is improving every single time he gets into that ring as of late. And Brad Skeens is hungry for gold. Can he manage to capture the WYW championship at the Elimination Chamber? We'll have to find out, but it is going to wrap up tonight's show. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like if you did. Comment your thoughts and feelings on tonight's show. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.